Hey, what's up YouTube? King James here. Season 3 is here and there's a few new guns, and at level 15 you get the PPSH. So whether you have the battle pass bought or not, you'll still get it at level 15. It's considered a free weapon. They don't hold them behind the battle pass, meaning so you have to buy the battle pass in order to get the weapons. You'll get it anyway. And it's an SMG, and you know how I love a good SMG. And I've been using it for a little while. I've got it fully leveled up and I've been trying it out. And I've seen some people say that it's not that great, but I've used it to some pretty good success. I've got a build that I like, and I think the gun's got some stuff about it that people are maybe misunderstanding. So let me show all that to you right now. So let's start by looking at the time to kill on the SMGs and it versus some other really popular options. And if you look at it up close, it's definitely not the best. If you run in within 10 meters and somebody's got a MP5, LC10, MAC-10, Bullfrog, yeah, you're going to lose unless you shoot first. But as soon as you get out over about 16 meters, it's actually pretty competitive. It's sort of right in the middle of all the pack. And then as you get way further out, it's actually the best. Now, the one thing that you really want to note about the PPSH, which I think some people are missing, is it's the only SMG with one damage drop off. That's like an AR. So think about the FAR-83 and the FFAR. What made them so good is they were good sort of at close, but now they're more like a medium range. And that's what this SMG is. It's really more like a medium range SMG. You'd want to actually compare it more to say an FFAR or a FAR-83 because it's got one damage drop off, and then it's actually got a pretty low time to kill of 718 all the way out as far as you can go. Now, that's not as fast as, you get down here, look at it, it's 492. The Cold War MP5 within 10 meters, yeah, you're gonna get destroyed unless you have much better game sense and you catch them sleeping. But other than that, you're definitely going to be outgunned really close. But this gun really is about that sort of medium range gameplay. Now, it works good close range because you come around a corner, you're already ADS, and you catch a guy sleeping, you can still mow them down. I did that lots, right? There's a lot of fights that happen like that, and you can use mobility to your advantage of strafing and moving around, which is also part of my build. But once you get past that sort of medium range, I found that I was actually using this thing with some decent range. So you could carry this instead of an AR with a sniper rifle and still be pretty successful, the same way we carry an FFAR or FAR-83. And the good thing about this gun is that it's got a huge magazine option, 71 bullets, which is massive. The only other gun that has that, which I love, is the Bullfrog. But look at the Bullfrog up here. It's almost a second time to kill once you get past 19 meters. That's really long and really high compared to this. So if you compare the PPSH with the Bullfrog, the PPSH is really much better, and the Bullfrog's real specific purpose is a large magazine and greater distance. So check out the ADS on this. So this is the 55 versus the 71 round drum, and typically when you go to a higher drum, it's got a slower ADS and a slower reload speed, but that's not the case here. Check this out. It's so fast I couldn't even measure it. So I'm just going to drag it across and watch the ADS as it comes up. You can see that the 55 is a tiny bit faster. Actually, I got a slow-mo one here. You can see it comes up and it's starting to zoom in a little sooner, but I mean, it's so close. If I press play on this, watch what happens. Even on the regular one, it's so fast, you can't even tell the difference. It's ridiculous how close it is. So there's almost no ADS penalty. If it's there, it's going to be probably like, a really small amount, 50 or 20 milliseconds or some really ridiculous thing that doesn't matter. So then there must be a penalty for the reload, right? Because the bigger mag always takes longer to reload. But check the reload. I shot and started the reload, and they're both done at exactly the same time. So you can run a massive magazine with no ADS penalty and no reload penalty. Now let's have a look at recoil. Maybe the recoil is really bad on it. So I just go to my normal spot and started shooting up the wall, and predictably it just sort of climbs a bit more in the beginning and slows down at the end. So you have a little bit of vertical recoil you have to contend with in the beginning and then shooting up. And then I did a controlled shot, and as like most SMGs, it sort of wanders in the beginning and then gets a little tighter. So you can see the wander here, and then it gets tighter. So the thing about this gun is, yeah, it's got a bit of vertical recoil control. You're gonna have to control in the beginning, but once you get past about the halfway mark, it really slows down and it's a lot easier to control. So the more shots you put out, the easier this thing is to control, which makes it a really easy gun to use, especially when you're shooting guys at that sort of mid-range. So I decided to give the gun a try in Rebirth, and I use it in Warzone. And like these guys here, I started them out with a nade, but hit them there, no problem. Shot there, look at how nice and smooth that is. I was able to shoot him and get the down, no issue. And I found that was the way it was all the time. time. Now, in these rounds here, I'm only using the 55 round mag because I was just trying it out before I realized that there's no ADS or reload penalty, so I'm using the 71 round mag now. And I'll tell you, in quads with 71 round bullets, especially when you're running into multiple people, it's a huge bonus because I don't find myself out of ammo, which happens and you die from it. So that's one thing about this gun. So the TTK is very competitive with the LC10 and the MAC-10, but it's got a massive magazine. So what's not to love? I actually think that this gun is pretty good. They may even give it a bit of a buff like they sometimes do with a brand new weapon when it comes out and it's not quite as good as they want it to be, or people aren't, sort of using it. So we may even see that happen on this. But, honestly, I don't think this gun needs it. I think it's pretty competitive the way it is. So I'm using my PPSH with the AK-47. I did an AK-47 build video just a little while ago. If you want to check it out, I'll link it right up here. You can go ahead and check that out. But for now, let me show you my PPSH build. But just before I jump into that, I want to say thank you to everybody who's recently subbed to the channel. I really appreciate all that love and support and the hilarious comments. So thank you guys for that. And if you haven't subbed to the channel, consider subscribing because it really does help small content creators like myself. All right, let me show you my build. All right, so the build on this gun isn't going to come as too much of a surprise. The thing you really want with an SMG is effective damage range and mobility. And that's what my build is going to give you. High mobility and good effective damage range, so it works out pretty far. So for starters, of course, going to use the GRU suppressor because it gives you both those things. Sound suppression keeps you off the mini-map, and recoil control and bullet velocity and damage range, effective damage range. So for the barrel, I really like the task force now. Now, I know it says vertical and horizontal recoil control, but this gun's actually pretty easy to control, so I don't actually find that to be a downside. Plus, you get a more effective damage range, bullet velocity, and strafe speed. So that makes you harder to hit when you're using the gun. So when you're in a fight up close and you're moving around, this gun gives you great mobility. And for the stock, again, with the mobility theme, the Raider stock, it just gives you mobility all the way across the board. And for the ammunition, I think I pretty well already sold you on this, but this 71 round drum, a ton of bullets with almost no ADS and zero reload penalty. So for the underbarrel, there's really two options. If you're worried about the recoil on it a bit, go with the Spetsnaz grip. It gives you horizontal and vertical recoil control. It's not that hard to control, but this definitely helps. But the other thing, if you want even more mobility, you can go with the Bruiser grip, which gives you even more movement speed. Now, this isn't sprinting movement speed like when you're slide canceling. This is regular movement that you're going to use when you're in a fight against somebody. Moving around, jumping, left to right, all that kind of stuff. It increases the movement speed there. So it's not going to make sprinting, but you're only slide canceling and sprinting when you're just trying to, rotate or move from one place to another. When you're fighting, that's regular movement speed. So this will help you with that. Otherwise, if you want the vertical and horizontal recoil control, go with the Spetsnaz grip. And this is how I've been running my PPSH, and it's been really successful for me. Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you going to use the PPSH, or are you hung up on another gun, maybe the FAR 83 or the MAC-10 still? I actually found this gun to be really good to use. It's got a very competitive TTK. This is versus say the MAC-10 or LC10. Up really close, not so much. But let's be honest, when you're up really close, chances are you're going to use, good game strat in order to get the advantage on the guy. So that slight difference in TTK isn't going to matter. So give it a shot. Let me know your thoughts. If you got a different way you're building it, hit me up and let me know in the comments section. I think I'm going to try and do an SMG shootout. So as soon as I can get that together with this new gun, I'll let you know. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, if you don't see me in Warzone, if you don't see me in multiplayer, it's only a matter of time, baby. King James out.